umu xabada tan oo iri kartid Soomaaliya
honorable delegates, good morning. Stepping in for Lucy. We have now His Excellency, the Minister of Labor and Social Affairs of the Republic of Djibouti, of the host country. We are very glad to welcome him. I would like to invite all the other distinguished delegates for the high table. The Igad Chair, Republic of Sudan, honorable delegates from Sudan, kindly come to the high table. The Igad Secretariat, Your Excellency Madam Fatih Alwan, would you please take your seat on the high table? The distinguished delegates from the European Union, may I kindly invite you to come to the podium, to the high table, and then the Director of ILO, Your Excellency, most welcome. Good morning again. As I said, we are happy to have His Excellency Dr. Usman, who had to come from his holiday, I presume the holiday. I would like to extend, on behalf of Igad and also of the Health and Social Development Division, our best wishes for a very good holiday of His Highness the Prophet's holiday, birthday. We extend our happy Prophet's birthday to all brothers and sisters, both here present and those in the member states and in Africa and elsewhere, celebrating the holiday today. In Ethiopia it started yesterday, and in some countries it could be extended. And most welcome. We wish you the best of the holiday. Having said that, I think we would like to catch up with the time. We are a bit behind schedule, but I'd like to invite Her Excellency Madam Fatih Alwan to give us welcoming remarks on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Workene Gebeyu, the Executive Secretary of Igad. Madam Fatih, you have the floor.
Good morning, bonjour, assalamu alaikum to all of you. Let me first wish you a happy Maulid on the occasion of the birth of our Prophet Muhammad, because today is a holiday, but we are here also to do our work. I would like to welcome you in Djibouti, which is also the Igad headquarters. Excellence, le ministre du Travail chargé de la formalisation et de la protection sociale, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, aussi Monsieur Bernard François, the head of EU cooperation, Mr. Alexio, the director of ILO country office for Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Kenya, Uganda, and also a special representative to the Igad, AU, and UNECA, and also a welcome also to our chair, which is Sudan, Madam Asrar. I would like also to welcome the representative from our Igad member state, whom are all present here. A very good morning to all of you. And also a welcome to the Confederation of Employers of Igad, and also the Horn of Africa Confederation for the Trade Union. Let me first also thank you also on behalf of Igad, and also the greeting also of His Excellency Dr. Workene, who is the Igad Executive Secretary, who might be joining us, inshallah, very soon. Distinguished delegates, let me first wish to thank all of you for availing yourself for this important and timely discussion on the subject, despite also we know your busy schedule and other engagement. And also sincerely also we'd like to thank the European Union for the financial support through the ILO, who has actually supported Igad in convening this meeting with, for its member state. I would like also to take also this opportunity to welcome all of you, and as delegates you all know, this first meeting of expert meeting is not the first one. We have held several virtual meetings that we have actually went through from different documents regarding the bilateral agreement, but also we have also discussed virtually about the establishment of a committee establishment of the Committee of Labor. But this is the physical one, because as you all know, we'll be having a ministerial meeting after tomorrow, and this meeting also will preparing all the documents where also the experts are requested to make their inputs. And also I would like to again welcome all of you to this expert meeting to discuss, as I say, the establishment of the Igad Labor Committee, but also among other issues like improving the coordination and collaboration on labor and employment, and also how to agree towards a common approach in bilateral labor agreement. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as you all know and you are aware, our region also forms a vast and complex region. Despite our difference, we also have a lot of commonality, be it economic, social, but also political. We share also a number of a similar challenge and opportunity, both at national level and also regional level. One of the most common challenges we face today is, as a region, is related to the issue of the labor and employment. As you all know, also our region has a high level of unemployment and also underemployment. While several countries have experienced strong economic growth in recent years, this has been yet to translate into a significant job creation. Our national labor market in the respective country are also struggling to absorb the large number of new workers which are also entering in the labor market every year as a result of the population growth, while contending with the structural difficulties in creating productive and the formal sector employment. The achievement made in terms of overcoming some of these challenges and also advancing decent work in the last years are today challenged by the pandemic of COVID-19. The magnitude and the nature of the problems related to labor and employment in our Igad region calls also for a common approach, both in the context of the regional integration, but also a regulated labor mobility within the region and labor migration outside the region. This requires a regular consultation and engagement among the ministers responsible for labor and employment of Igad member states to discuss the challenge, the opportunities, and also the devised strategies to promote the decent and productive work opportunities for the citizen everywhere. Excellencies and honorable delegates, the Igad ministers responsible for labor and employment, as you all know, for Igad do not yet have a regional platform to regularly meet and deliberate on the key issue of concern in the sectors and also provide strategic guidance. So far, as you all know, the issue of labor and employment has been dealt at a ad hoc and also issue basis, leaving a vacuum to a comprehensive address in addressing the labor and employment issue and their interaction with other subjects, including migrations. Excellencies and delegates, establishing an Igad Labor Committee is made possible by the Article 10 of the Igad Agreement that provides the possibility for establishing a sectorial ministries of committee to deal with specific and sectoral issues in the region. The Treaty of Igad also further notes that such a committee shall meet at least as often and also be necessary for the attainment of the objective of the agreement. The specific actually terms of the reference of the committee of the ministers shall also be agreed upon the member state in consultation with the secretariat, and also it is the provision that also empowering Igad to establish such a proposed committee of ministers in charge of labor. Excellency and distinguished delegates and experts, once established, and also we hope at the ministerial level, that the Igad Labor Committee of Ministers will also create a space for ministers of labor at regularly engage in policy dialogue and also provide strategic guidance in the implementation of the Igad policies and the priorities on labor and employment. In addition, such a platform, regional platform, will also be able to enable member states to take common position in international fora, such as the International Labour Conference of ILO, the AU Specialized Technical Committee on Labor and Employment, and also, unlike other regional economic communities, REC, such as the East African Community and also the SADC. It is also to note that in this context, I want also to welcome again all of you, and also to thank also His Excellency the Minister, Mr. Osman Ibrahim, and also actually we again need to underscore the relevance of our meeting of today. I wish to conclude by encouraging all the experts and the participants here to have a fruitful discussion. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Madam Fatih Alwan, for those brilliant welcoming remarks and also key messages about the purpose of this meeting. This is very important, and thank you very much. I have now the honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the ILO Director, to give us welcoming remarks. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremony. Let me also start by saying to each and everyone a happy holiday, and thank you for making time despite the holiday to be with us today. And thank you, Your Excellency, Minister Ismail Robley, our host for the next 3 days here in Djibouti, for your leadership, your guidance in the preparation of this first historic Igad meeting of Ministers of Labor. Thank you, Chairperson, for the meeting, the representative of the government of Sudan. I would like to thank you more specifically, Madam Fatia, the Director of Health and Social Development of Igad, who over the last several months we have been discussing the preparation of this meeting, a number of virtual and face-to-face meetings that we had in the build-up, and would like to thank all the Igad Secretariat behind the scenes. Thank you very much, Bena and Kaisa from the EU. The financial support that we got from the EU was one part, but beyond that, we do very much appreciate the time you took in terms of sharing experience, guidance, that not only shaped this meeting, but also the whole FMTP project. Thank you, Actu Secretary General, Ato Kasaon. Thank you, CIE President, Madam Igad. We were here a few months ago to meet with the Igad Executive Secretary. And yes, today we have the first tripartite Igad meeting. This is historic. I might say one of the days we started this discussion with Igad was when the CIE was formed in December 2019. And the question that came is, where would the CIE take their reports to? And at that point, it was suggested, let's have a platform for ministers to meet with the tripartite partners. Thank you, IOM, GIZ, CEDA, development partners, sister UN agencies. We appreciate the partnership at the Igad sub-region and also within the JLMP at the continental level, which we are proud that we can take the experience of the partnership of the JLMP in the upcoming INDAREC meeting in Djibouti that Igad would be hosting this November. This meeting wouldn't have taken place without you, the experts from Igad member states. You are the ones who started with a blank page, brainstormed, shared ideas, and yet we are today. Congratulations, Wongera, felicitation for what we have achieved. The main objective for us being here in Djibouti today and for those who are joining virtually is to deliberate on improving regional collaboration on employment and labor issues in Igad. I've already mentioned that it has been an interesting journey that got us here today. The experts having made 3 regional virtual technical workshops on 25 May, 24 June, and 7 July. The first 2 technical consultation workshops gave ample opportunity for you experts to extensively review, digest, and provide comments on the draft background report and Igad regional guidelines on the rights-based approach to bilateral labor agreements, as well as the draft background report for this meeting, terms of reference, and operating procedures on the Igad Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment. The third session that was held in July saw representatives adopt and commit to the guidelines pending the endorsement by the Committee of Ministers, which we hope will be done on Wednesday. As for the social partners, ACTU and CIE also visited Djibouti in September and their follow-up board meetings in Kampala. Now we have the major event, bringing in our ministers with 2 major deliverables expected during the 3 days. First, improved coordination and collaboration on labor and employment issues through the establishment of the platform for ministers to regularly hold policy dialogue and provide the much-needed strategic guidance on matters related to labor and employment at the regional level. Secondly, having endorsed the Igad regional guidelines on rights-based bilateral agreements, deliberate on the challenges, opportunities, and way forward towards translating the guidelines into actions that lead to decent work for migrant workers. Delegates, ladies and gentlemen, estimates say over 100 million persons will join the labor market in Igad in the next 20-25 years, doubling the current labor force. Adequately employing such a rapidly rising labor force is a tall challenge and requires a coordinated approach among member states, workers and employers organizations, and other partners toward working towards the same vision. We know that the employment challenge in Igad is mostly a youth employment challenge. What then can we do? Experience has demonstrated that building an employment agenda remains the most effective route to poverty eradication. However, in a number of countries, employment creation is not seen as an explicit objective of economic and social policies. Despite, for Igad, as we have noted, we'll need more than 100 million new jobs in the coming years. Even in cases where such objective exists, implementation remains a critical challenge. To have employment as an explicit development objective, it is important for labor ministers, employers and workers' organizations to actively be involved in national, sub-regional and continental policy dialogue and set and lead the agenda. On this, I once again congratulate Igad for establishing this forum that in turn should facilitate the mainstreaming of labor and employment issues at the national, sub-regional, and this will complement the continental dialogues such as the Specialized Technical Committee on Labor and Employment of the Africa Union. The establishment of such a committee would complement Igad's institutional architecture by availing a platform to discuss challenges related to labor and employment and continue to deliberate on the common issues and common solutions. Once settled, the committee, like other similar platforms in other RECs, as Madam Fatia noted, in SADC, ECOWAS, in the East Africa Community, would allow for consultation and engagement by the ministers with the social partners. Ladies and gentlemen, taking note of the 100 million jobs we have talked about, experience has also shown that it is not just about the quantity of jobs, but jobs that take into consideration ILO fundamental principles and rights at work, jobs where social dialogue is promoted, and the participatory nature of poverty reduction processes taken into consideration. People working in poverty need voice to obtain recognition of their rights and demand respect. They need representation and participation. They also need good laws that are enforced and work for, not against their interests. Without rights and empowerment, the working poor will not get out of poverty. On the other hand, without ensuring fundamental principles and rights at work, productivity and efficiency of business will also be compromised. It is for this reason that we again applaud the fact that you have extended invitation to workers and employers organizations. The participatory approach with employers and workers organizations should lead to an enabling environment for entrepreneurship, investments, and enterprise creation, which is the route for more opportunities for employment and sustainable livelihoods. In your deliberations, ladies and gentlemen, we also encourage you to take into consideration that the poor are unprotected in some cases. There is a lot that is needed to strengthen social protection policies, institutions, and programs that support the poor. We can ask questions in the countries represented. How are we doing on minimum wages? What social security measures do we have in place? What about occupational health and safety, amongst others? Without addressing these needs of the poor, we go back to reference the ILO Declaration of Philadelphia of 1944, which states, and I quote, "Poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere." Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, labor migration is another subject that brings us together today. It is evident that the structural driver of migration from Igad region is the lack of decent employment opportunities at home and the demand for workers in specific sectors abroad. How can we address the root cause of migration and make migration a choice than a necessity, as stated in the ILO Fair Migration Agenda? Igad member states are also increasingly aware of these common challenges to promote decent work opportunities for their citizens, both in their own countries and enhance protection of citizens abroad. What more can we do collectively as Igad to enrich the experiences for citizens to decide when and how to migrate within and beyond the region? Ladies and gentlemen, the nature of the problems that we have highlighted and we are aware of calls for a common approach to some of the common challenges, both in the context of regional integration and regulated labor mobility within the region and labor migration outside the region. This requires regular consultation and engagement among ministers responsible for labor of Igad member states to discuss these challenges, opportunities, and devise strategies to promote decent work and productive opportunities for all citizens. To do so, the ILO did invite, under the guidance of Igad, DPC and associates who assisted in drafting the operating procedures for the proposed Igad Labour Committee. In their absence, I know they are connected online, we would like to thank the DPC and associates for their work. I'm positive that the initial 2 days of our meeting will give us an opportunity to once again familiarize ourselves with the initial work done by DPC, endorse it for ministers to review and adopt. I do commit the ILO to continue supporting and working with you as we move forward. With these remarks, I would like to say thank you, merci, asante sana, amasegenalo, shukran, mahad sanit, weyebele. Looking forward to a productive 2-day session. Thank you.
Thank you, Director, for this very important welcoming remarks and also outlining the entire objectives and the expected deliverables of this first important meeting here today in this very beautiful city of Djibouti. And when I used to be a lecturer, I used to quote that famous phrase of the Philadelphia Declaration of 44, that poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. I used to add also that it is only in Africa that employment or unemployment is not a measure of success in governance. I think we are changing the narrative and maybe we are on the right track. Thank you very much for that. I'd like to invite His Excellency, the representative of the European Union, to Djibouti and Igad. Excellency, you have the floor.
Excellences, Monsieur le Ministre du Travail, de la Formalisation et de la Protection sociale, Mrs. Astar Ahmed, representative of the Sudanese chair of Igad, Mrs. Fatia Alwan, Director of Migration, Health and Social Development Division of Igad, their Director, Alexio Musindo from ILO, distinguished delegates and experts, good morning. I'm pleased to receive this opportunity of welcoming remark this morning. It's a pleasure to see that the Igad Ministerial Conference on Employment and Labor is finally taking place, starting with the expert meeting today and tomorrow and culminating in the ministerial meeting on Thursday. This conference is organized in the framework of the Igad ILO project called Towards Free Movement of Persons and Transhumans and Improved Labor Mobility in the Igad region, supported by the EU. Within this project, Igad has developed the protocols on free movement of persons and transhumans. The protocols were adopted by the Igad Council of Ministers in June this year. In parallel, as you know, the African Continental Free Trade Area is starting to exist. Both provide a legal basis for the mobility of workers. Both will create opportunities for labor migration. I would like to commend Igad for taking this timely initiative of working together on labor, employment, and mobility issues. On one hand, one could argue that labor and employment could be seen as purely national issues and internal affairs. But on the other hand, in a region like Igad, in a continent like Africa, with aims for regional integration, labor and employment have also to be managed with a regional approach. A regional approach requires coordination on labor market information, labor market challenges, both known and new, and issue of concern which can arise from time to time. The Igad Ministerial Committee on Employment and Labor will be a good platform for such a coordination on a political level. But we have not to forget the importance of technical coordination, and with this project where ILO has supported the establishment and the capacity building of the Labor Migration Expert Reference Group, we have the expert. I hope that the Igad Ministerial Committee on Employment and Labor, with its technical subcommittees or working group, will offer a good opportunity to continue to work with this expert. It's important. There is the project and there is the reality and the future, and you are the expert. It's important to find a way to continue to use you to advise, to give good advice for this coordination at the political level. I would also like to mention the importance of having on board the social partners represented in the conference, namely the Confederation of Igad Employers and the Horn of Africa Confederation of Trade Unions. For the EU, the participation of social partners when coordinating and discussing labor and employment issues is really crucial. I would therefore like to congratulate Igad for bringing the Confederation of Igad Employers and the Confederation of Trade Unions of Igad on board at this stage. On the main topics for the discussion tomorrow will be the bilateral labor agreements, because for sure Igad is a region, but people move also outside of Igad for the work. So thanks to Igad to have prepared in the framework of the project these regional guidelines, which will be a base to organize from a country to other country outside Igad the framework to support legal labor migration and giving the guarantees for a minimum of social protection. Don't let the guidelines disappear in a drawer. Consult them, use them, and share them. The EU supports the project toward free movement of persons and transhumans in the Igad region since 2016. I think you can all agree with me that since then, a lot of progress has been realized. We had a lot of premières in French. We had a lot of first moment, and today this conference on labor and employment is not an exception. I would like to congratulate and thank Igad Secretariat and the ILO for the organization of the conference that marks an important step to improve labor mobility in the Igad region. I wish you so fruitful discussion today and tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency, for the valid points and also for strong partnership between Igad and the European Union, and also for your highlights on the role of youth and employment through skilling, and also the role of education and innovation that Igad is also busy working on. We fully appreciate the cooperation that we have, and Igad has a social protection strategy that is very important, that we can continue collaboration both with ILO and with all partners, including the European Union. Having said that, I have the honor now to invite Her Excellency Madam Asrar, representing the chair of Igad, to make opening statements. Madam, you have the floor.
I really hate those masks, you know. So, good morning, everyone. Excellency, Honorable Minister of Labor, my brother, Dr. Osman, Excellency, Director of Health and Social Development, my sister, Madame Fathia, Excellency, the representative of the ILO, Excellency, the representative of the European Union Head of Cooperation, Mr. Bernard, Excellencies, Member States representatives, international partner representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. First and foremost, it's both a privilege and pleasure for me to be here with all of you today in this spectacular conference of Igad that aims to support the implementation of one of its main strategic pillars, that is regional integration, and also to contribute to the successful implementation of the Free of Movement Protocol and to encourage and enhance mobility within the region. Indeed, it's an important meeting that gathers us all to discuss hot issues related to employment, labor, and labor migration in order to protect the basic rights and dignity for our people. We wish to extend our deep gratitude and appreciation to the government of Djibouti for hosting this event. We are really overwhelmed by the hospitality of our sisters and brothers. Since we arrived, we just felt home, and I always feel home here. Much thanks and appreciation. We are fortunate to have support of great partners. Let me express our sincere thanks and appreciation for Igad Secretariat, ILO, European Union, for organizing this important conference and for their continuous determination and commitment to make the process a success story. Let me also express our gratitude for all member states representatives here for their commitment. 3 virtual meetings were successfully conducted during last June and July. Even that we were like behind the keyboard, but we successfully discussed, deliberated, and adopted the guidelines of the bilateral labor agreement as one of the major milestones. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, despite the current economic situation in the region, the overall GDP growth rates indicates considerable economic growth in the upcoming years, and in relation to the demographic map of the region, that highlights a considerable rate of young population, especially the category of working age population. This link requires a huge investment in human capital. The fact that the economic growth is not reflected yet in the job market due to major factors related to the lack of human skills non-diversified economy, weak governance, structural issues related to job creation, indeed creates barriers to observe those potential young active labor force. That lead to difficulties in creating decent employment. That is why labor migrations come across, as it provides significant value to access formal employment, higher wages, new skills acquirements, although reduce pressure in the national labor market and contribute to development. The reality is that migration brings huge benefit, fueling growth, innovation, and entrepreneurship in both origin and destination, when governed humanly to promote safely, orderly, and dignity. But this type of migration needs more collaboration in order to regulate it through improving working conditions, provide protection. As we go more for regional approach, our power position will grow stronger, then our people will be more protected and enjoy their rights. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in the context of creating a regional mechanism for providing a high-level political platform to engage in policy dialogue and provide guidelines for policies implementation, the idea of creating the first Igad platform for labor comes through. As I stand here, I would like to assure that Sudan as a government and as a chair of Igad highly support the establishment of Igad Employment Labor Committee for the reason that our challenges are similar, our concerns are similar, and our solutions are similar too. So let us share experience, share lessons learned, and deal with labor and employment collaboratively together. Indeed, I also would like to highlight the important role that technical working group of this committee will play, as they are the focal to function it. Actually, as a real example, we are all here experts right now building together this platform. That is why this group is crucial for the success of the committee. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking forward for a fruitful discussion and outcomes that will blossom from this expert meeting during today and tomorrow. That's all for the preparation for our big day, the day after, on the 21st. During the deliberation and discussion, we expect all of us to participate and engage actively in order to adopt both the term of reference and the standard operating procedure for the committee, and to adopt also the declaration that reflects our political will, our work, our effort, and our commitment. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in order to conclude, Sudan reaffirms the importance of exerting more efforts by all actors to ensure that this process will be a huge success story. Let us put our hands together to achieve our common goals of not failing our sisters and brothers from enjoying their rights through decent employment. Sudan also would like to thank once again our Djibouti sisters and brothers, Igad Secretariat, ILO, and European Union for their continuous support, and looking forward to strengthening ties and more cooperation, and we wish you all fruitful deliberations. Thank you. Okay. As per the schedule, finally, I would like to welcome the Minister of Labor of our sister country, Djibouti. Kindly, Dr. Usman, the floor is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I apologize because I can't speak well, very well English, but I will try to say one word. Welcome to all in Djibouti. So, if you permit me, I will speak in French. You can take your... Thanks. Madame la directrice de la santé et du développement social et représentante du secrétaire exécutif de l'Igad, Monsieur le directeur régional de l'Organisation internationale du travail à Addis Abeba, Monsieur le chef de la coopération de l'Union africaine à Djibouti et de l'Igad, Madame la présidente, Madame la représentante de la présidence de l'Igad, Mesdames et Messieurs les représentants des partenaires sociaux, distingués invités en vos rangs et grades, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. C'est avec un plaisir réel que je prends la parole ce jour et en ce lieu à l'occasion de la cérémonie d'ouverture des premiers travaux d'experts de la première conférence ministérielle de l'Igad sur le travail, l'emploi et la migration de la main-d'œuvre. Permettez-moi, au nom du gouvernement et du peuple djiboutien tout entier, de vous souhaiter à toutes et à tous la bienvenue à Djibouti. Je voudrais aussi saisir cette opportunité pour exprimer la gratitude du gouvernement djiboutien à l'endroit de l'Igad pour le choix qui a été porté sur notre pays pour abriter cette conférence inédite des ministres des pays membres de l'Igad et relatif aux thématiques de l'emploi, du travail et de la migration de la main-d'œuvre dans la sous-région. Très certainement, c'est un départ historique et vous comprendrez aisément la satisfaction marquée des plus hautes autorités de mon département et même du pays, car elles sont persuadées de la place centrale qu'occupent globalement ces questions et ces enjeux sur le développement de nos pays respectifs. Qu'il me soit permis de vous exprimer la fierté qui est la nôtre de vous accueillir et de vous compter parmi nous ce jour à l'occasion de ces assises. Madame la présidente de séance, distingués délégués, le gouvernement, par ma voix, vous témoigne toute sa gratitude et à travers vous, à toutes les délégations de l'Igad, pour avoir effectué le déplacement de Djibouti malgré un calendrier chargé et un contexte de Covid-19. Vous avez tenu non seulement à rehausser de votre participation et de vos compétences l'éclat de la conférence, mais également à prendre une part active dans ces travaux. Par-delà le simple respect des principes qui sous-tendent le fonctionnement de notre organisation, l'Igad, ce choix représente pour nous une marque de confiance et de reconnaissance de notre longue tradition en matière d'accueil et d'organisation des événements de l'Igad. Madame la Présidente, distingués délégués, le concept de travail décent est une préoccupation constante de toutes les administrations régionales qui doivent sans cesse augmenter le niveau de mobilisation des ressources pour contribuer au financement des besoins croissants de leur communauté. Cette préoccupation est plus forte encore dans nos économies fortement perturbées par la crise de la Covid-19 et trop caractérisées par l'informalité. Cette conférence est la résultante d'un long processus de consultation entre tous les États membres de l'Igad et vise 3 objectifs majeurs. La création d'un comité ministériel de l'emploi et du travail de l'Igad, la mise en place d'une plateforme de consultation pour le ministre du Travail de l'Igad et la validation des lignes directrices de l'Igad sur les accords bilatéraux du travail produites dans le cadre du projet Igad-OIT sur la libre circulation des personnes. Il est bien utile de rappeler le renforcement de la gouvernance de la migration du travail dans la région de l'Igad, un défi commun qui mobilise autant la République de Djibouti que la communauté régionale, mais aussi le système des Nations Unies ne peut se réaliser sans la conclusion des accords bilatéraux de travail. C'est pourquoi le document des accords bilatéraux de travail de l'Igad est un document complet reflétant les aspirations des pays membres de la région pour protéger les travailleurs migrants. La République de Djibouti, faisant partie de la région de la communauté économique de l'Igad, de la COMESA, ambitionne de s'ancrer dans la mondialisation et donc d'ouvrir son marché du travail. C'est pourquoi il est impératif que la migration du travail intervienne dans un cadre structuré permettant de garantir des conditions de travail décentes pour les travailleurs qui choisissent de s'installer ici ou ailleurs et éviter le trafic d'êtres humains. Madame la Présidente, distingués délégués, il est juste de signaler que l'échange de main-d'œuvre doit être conclu à travers des accords bilatéraux de travail qui engagent réellement les États. Nous devons donc agir ensemble pour mettre en place un cadre de régulation de la migration du travail pour que cette ressource humaine soit un atout pour le développement économique du pays d'accueil. Vous le voyez, les enjeux de cette conférence ministérielle sont pluriels. C'est le lieu pour moi, donc, d'exhorter l'ensemble des délégués présents à prendre part de manière active aux travaux. Je les invite autant que possible à s'investir et à partager très activement et à participer très activement aux échanges et discussions qui seront organisés. De vos débats, j'espère fructueux et constructifs, dépendra à coup sûr la qualité des résolutions attendues. Je forme le vœu qu'au terme de cette réunion d'experts, l'Igad en sortira grandie et plus forte et mieux armée grâce à ses membres actifs pour conduire avec succès les politiques publiques relatives au travail, à l'emploi et à la migration de la main-d'œuvre, pour construire un monde du travail plus résilient grâce au développement durable, au travail décent, à l'emploi productif et à l'inclusion sociale. Je me permettrai de terminer mon intervention pour saluer l'action de l'Igad, une action fondamentale, une action courageuse. Et bien évidemment aussi le soutien constant de l'Organisation internationale du travail. Je voudrais marquer ici notre satisfaction et notre reconnaissance et notre gratitude pour le dévouement et l'engagement de ces deux institutions dans les problématiques du travail, de l'emploi et de la migration de la main-d'œuvre qui demeurent des composantes essentielles au développement de nos pays respectifs. Je remercie très chaleureusement l'Union européenne pour son appui financier pour l'organisation de la première conférence ministérielle de l'Igad sur le travail décent à Djibouti. C'est une première et je voudrais vraiment le marquer de manière très forte. Enfin, je vous souhaite, je le souhaite très fortement, que vous ayez des débats fructueux durant vos travaux et surtout, un séjour agréable à Djibouti. Je déclare ouverts les travaux de la réunion d'experts et je vous remercie de votre attention.
Thank you, Excellency, for such wonderful welcoming remarks and also for the highlights that you gave us. As a good friend of Igad, an architect of the Djibouti Declaration, and also a very close collaborator on many of the issues that Igad is doing. We are very, very grateful for your leadership, and we recognize the important role that your ministry is now playing in setting the agenda on labor, employment, migration, and mobility. Your Excellency, we are very, very, very much deeply honored to have you here at this experts meeting, and also your commitment is expressed by attending the experts meeting, as you are also preparing to welcome your colleague ministers on the 21st. And Igad is very much delighted to have you here and at that ministry, very important ministry. Having said that, I think we will be a bit swapping the program. We will have the introduction component after the tea, coffee break. Since we have to see off His Excellency the Minister, I would like only to request the heads of delegation to show their hands and maybe thank the high-level speakers on the podium just in one word. I will give a chance to Djibouti for 1 word, 1 minute. The head of delegation of Djibouti. We want to save time. We'll introduce ourselves later, but just to say that, yeah. Djibouti, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le modérateur. Au nom de Djibouti, en tant que pays hôte, nous aimerions déjà dire aux délégations ici présentes, soyez les bienvenus à Djibouti. Et la présidence, nous aimerions également dire à la présidence de l'Igad de Soudan de nous avoir honorés également de présider cette séance. Nous sommes très honorés d'accueillir la première conférence ministérielle de l'Igad sur le travail et l'emploi à Djibouti, et nous sommes très honorés en ce sens. Je vous remercie.
Thank you. The head of delegation of Ethiopia. I'll follow the alphabetical order. Just, if you can, with 1 word to greet the high table. Ethiopia. If not Ethiopia, Somalia, Kenya, the head of delegation of Kenya. Then the head of delegation, Ethiopia, you are there, or Kenya?
Good morning. I'm Winnie Kalegebe from Kenya. I think I first wanted to at least appreciate the minister, the Honorable Minister for Labor, also the president of the Igad, the delegation for supporting this whole initiative and dialogue. I think Kenya, we are committed, and we are looking forward to having a fruitful deliberation as we continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenya. Somalia, the head of delegation, to greet us and then say a few words.
Hello, good morning, everybody. I say thank you for all preparation for this and labor immigration, and also I say thank you and welcome everybody to this meeting, and I hope inshallah our minister will be telling you everything from our government. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
South Sudan.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, South Sudan, we are grateful for Igad in organizing this conference, and we hope that we'll be able to deliberate and agree on the way forward. I appreciate the ILO, the Igad Secretariat, and the donor, the EU, those who are partnering with us. Thank you very much.
Sudan.
صباح الخير. نشكر حقيقة حكومة جيبوتي لاستضافتها هذا المؤتمر الهام على المستوى الوزاري وعلى مستوى اللجنة، ونشكر الشركاء من الاتحاد الأوروبي ومنظمة العمل المكتب الإقليمي وكل الدول المشاركة، وإن شاء الله نتمنى أنه هذا المؤتمر يخرج باتفاقية ولجنة تكون فعالة إن شاء الله في منطقة الإيجاد. شكرا.
Thank you, Sudan. Uganda.
Yes, thank you, Master of Ceremonies. Uganda is delighted to be part of this discussion, and we also wanted to recognize the remarks made by the honorables on the high table. The issues that were raised in their remarks are really pertinent to the region and as well as Uganda. And during these 3 days, Uganda will be considering all those issues that have been raised. And we really want to thank Igad and Djibouti for the hospitality they have provided to the delegation of Uganda. And we look forward to actively participate in this forum and see the region, Igad region, moving forward as one. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished member states, for those expressions of appreciation to our distinguished speakers. I would like to just very quickly take you through the agenda so that the Honorable Minister, while leaving, would know what we'll be deliberating. As you have seen, the first agenda item was the opening session. This will be followed by introduction and adoption of the agenda. It will be done after the coffee break, and then presentation of the setting. There we will have a couple of presentations, the Igad protocol on free movement of persons, then state of labor. Thank you. Then the state of labor employment and labor migration in the Igad region will be discussed in the next session. Then we will be immediately in the group photo coffee break. After that, we have presentation on coordination and collaboration on labor and employment, experience of the other regional economic communities, and then the draft terms of reference, sustainable operating procedures for Igad Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment. That will be presented by Igad and ILO. And then we will have, in the course of the day, group work, member states review and a discussion. We'll have a review of the member states and inputs into the terms of reference, the standard operating procedures, and also for the Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment. Then we'll have lunch break, which will be followed by group work. Their member states review and input on the terms of reference. I think the continuation of the preceding agenda. Then after lunch we'll have a coffee break, and then we'll have a plenary meeting where member states feedback on the terms of reference, the standard operating procedures for Igad Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment. And then there would be validation of the terms of reference and then the standard operating system procedures for the Igad Ministerial Committee on Labor and Employment. All this will be done by the Igad Secretariat chaired by Sudan. And then we will have a panel discussion on day 2 tomorrow, which consists of how to make the Igad regional guidelines on rights-based BLAs, which means bilateral labor agreements, work for migrant workers. And then the key points there for the discussion will be how can member states use the Igad regional guidelines in the assessment and review of existing bilateral labor agreements and drafting of new agreements, how Igad and Igad partners can support member states to operationalize and implement the Igad regional guidelines on rights-based bilateral labor agreements, and then why and how member states should take a common position on some of the major challenges in bilateral agreements, minimum wage and wage protection, employment mobility, equality of treatment, access to justice, and social protection, among others. There are partners and the Confederation of Employers that will be taking part. And then this will be followed by a coffee break, and then after coffee there will be a series of presentations and group work and plenary discussions. And then we break for lunch, and then presentations on draft declaration of labor and employment and labor migration. And then toward the end of the day, we will have finalization of the declaration, heads of delegations of Igad member states and Republic of Djibouti, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, the rapporteur, Republic of Kenya, Federal Republic of Somalia, Republic of South Sudan, Republic of Sudan, the chair, Republic of Uganda will all participate in the finalization of the declaration. End of the experts meeting and preparation for the third day, the most important one, the ministerial conference. There is a dinner program. We are very much grateful for that dinner after 2 laborious days. I think I will not go into the program for the ministerial session. We'll stop here in the interest of time. I was reminded to give the floor to the Confederation of Employers Associations. Apologies for that oversight. Anyone representing the employers to give us few remarks before moving to the next agenda, which is the group photo. Excellencies, you have the floor. And then that will also be followed by the trade unions, 2 speakers.
Bonjour à vous tous, ici présents, honorables invités, et tous ceux qui ont fait l'effort d'être là. Nous remercions bien sûr les États membres, et c'est une première pour que la communauté d'affaires soit présente des pays respectifs, ainsi que les travailleurs.
Thank you. Trade unions. Or any other partner? Yes. Thank you.
Good morning. This is Kasomfolo. I'm the General Secretary for HAG2. Distinguished high tables, excellencies, Igad Secretariat, dear delegates, and ladies and gentlemen, I bring with me warm greetings from all working community entire the sub-region. On behalf of HAG2, I would like to thank Igad to invite us in this very crucial and historical meeting. We're ready to work with government, employers, for the better life of workers and the peoples of the Horn of Africa. I thank you very much.
Thank you, distinguished representatives of the labor unions. I think now we are moving to the family photo session, and then we will see off His Excellency the Minister, and then we will have the coffee break. My role will end here. I thank you very much. I'm the Senior Coordinator of Education in the Igad Social Development Division, and I'm very much interested in the discussion because all what we do is related to each other. Thank you very much. Member states, please follow us for the photo. Just briefly, and then we'll break for coffee. Huh? Here. No, we are going out. Yeah, we are going out for the photos, please. Yeah, everyone, the heads of delegation, just on the front, on the vanguard.